When we talk about Charles Void Harrelson, Charles Void Harrelson, Hollywood Harrelson, what do you think? Woody Harrelson. Yes, Woody Harrelson is the son of Charles Void Harrison. We'll just call him Charles Harrison from now on. Well, what's the significance of that? Well, who's Charles Harrison? Charles Harrison was a hitman. He was a professional assassin. Did lots of jobs for the mafia. He wasn't Italian, obviously, but he was a hitman. And he was paid by the mafia many times to take out particular targets, which he did. And in fact, he at one point confessed to the assassination of John F. Kennedy because he assassinated a judge. He was hired to kill a judge. This is Charles Harrison. He was hired to kill a judge. And when the police turned up at his house to arrest him for killing this judge, he was high on cocaine. And he was probably getting the good quality cocaine, being a hitman working with the mafia. I'm sure he had the right contacts. So he's on this, primo cocaine when the police arrive, and they start quizzing him, questioning him, interviewing him. Killing judges and all that. What are you doing? And during this questioning, he not only confessed to killing the judge, he confessed to killing Kennedy. And he said he was part of a team that was hired to kill Kennedy. Now, remember, this is a professional hitman who is hired all the time to kill high-profile targets, like judges. So the idea that he was part of a conspiracy to kill the president and he was hired to do it is perfectly reasonable. But it was never investigated because Lee Harvey Oswald did it. And Lee Harvey Oswald's dead. So that's case closed. We can forget about that. Charles Harrison now becomes quite inconvenient with his confession and his story about the fact that he was actually part of a group, because that's a conspiracy. And we can't have that. You can't have a conspiracy theory. You have to believe it was just one guy. So they never prosecuted him for the crime. And he later retracted his confession. But he also retracted his confession about killing the judge. But, they didn't let him out of prison. He stayed in prison for the rest of his life, died in prison. He got 2 life sentences, actually, for killing the judge. He confessed to 2 murders, and they gave him 2 life sentences. But they were both for killing the judge, not for killing Kennedy. And his son, Charles's son, was Woody. And Woody Harrelson began his career in Cheers he became famous at least, on the programme, the sitcom called Cheers, which was set in Boston, and it was an 80s comedy in a bar. And Woody was a barman, and he was very nice, but a bit stupid. And that was his character, Woody, the nicest guy in the world. But Oliver Stone, again, comes into the picture, and he must have seen something in Woody Harrelson, because he cast him in the role of a lifetime. Another one of the films written and directed by Oliver Stone was Natural Born Killers. And the star of that was Woody Harrelson. And Woody Harrelson in that film played the part of an absolute psychopath. He was a natural born killer. He was a man who could kill people with no compunction, no regret. Yeah, just give me a name. I'll kill him, I don't care. Sleep very well tonight. And it's curious to me that even though he lived such a different life from his father, that his father actually was that. His father was a man who could shoot you in the face 3 times in front of your family and then go and have a beer. No problem. He was a professional hitman. And his son, although he didn't take that path, was able to play the part of a psychotic killer perfectly. Perfectly. If you watch the film Natural Born Killers, I've only watched it once because it's that kind of film that stays with you for the rest of your life when you watch it. You don't need to watch it twice. And Woody Harrelson, I don't know if he's got some kind of genetic traits from his father that he chooses to ignore, but he is very believable as a psychotic killer, and his father was one. So that's an interesting family member for an actor to have as well.